Live from the local station, this is a Weather Authority alert.
Tracking Tropical Storm Colin, the outer bands of the system bringing heavy rain and storm damage our way. We've already felt the effect of one of the strong lines of storms. Another is on the way. The 8 o'clock advisory just came in.
And the Weather Authority is taking a close look at it. And we have our reporters live in the field where the damage is being reported. We start, though, with John Gahn, who's tracking the storm for us and pinpointing when it will affect you. John?
Well, like Ken said, we've already done round one. Now we're going to do round two. And again, at this point in time, we're going to see probably limited impacts from round two. This is the latest satellite picture. This is the latest from the Hurricane Center. Note the track. Note 2 a.m. in the morning, just straight north of Jacksonville. So if you can imagine what's happening straight south of where Colin is now, it's clear skies. So again, we're going to start to see some much better weather for us as we go through the overnight hours. But these little clouds right in through here, they don't look like much. They play with a mean bite, as we are still seeing some fairly nasty storms out west. That's the anticipated track up and out of here. Note the conveyor belt of moisture. This is what impacted us earlier. The dark reds here representing severe thunderstorms. And again, we're starting to see new storms develop back out to the west. The 8 o'clock advisory, 50-mile-an-hour winds moving to the northeast at 23 miles an hour. And as we look at the latest details of winds around the Gulf of Mexico, these are winds gusts. Oh, no, these are sustained winds. We don't see any major winds out here. It's kind of interesting that they keep Colin as a tropical storm at this point, because I'm really not seeing the type of winds that we would expect to see for a tropical storm. Sustained winds should be in the 40+ mile-an-hour range. And as we get on land right now, you can look back closer to home, we see winds of in the 5 to 10 mile-an-hour range. Now, there are stronger winds occurring down here to the south, but some of these are thunderstorm winds, and those are the thunderstorms that we're going to track for the next 2.5 hours. There they are right now. Some fairly decent downpours still yet to come for Jacksonville, as these will be rotating towards the north. As we take a look at the last hour or so in terms of the radar data, you can see it spinning around the next line of thunderstorms, and some of these will become severe. So again, putting it all together, 8 o'clock advisory from about Colin from the National Hurricane Center showing he's still very weak, very open system, about to make landfall right out here, and it'll continue to move on off towards the north and east, passing to the west of Lake City. So all of this moisture here has got to go right on through Jacksonville, and that moisture will be some big downpours and the possibility of some severe weather. So tornado possibilities still exist here tonight, and of course, if they happen, we'll cut right in to whatever program we have, and of course, we'll go on Facebook Live and detail that as well. Colin, what next? Should wrap up by 3 a.m. Worst is now past us. That's a most likely answer, meaning that there could be some problems, but the worst we saw earlier today, we'll show the video in a few moments, was pretty nasty, unlikely to repeat. Pop-up storms overnight as the threat continues. It'll be less widespread and more isolated in nature as we track the rains heading our way. Now, the damage was pretty impressive, and here's Rebecca Berry. Again, thanks to you folks at home, using Storm Pins app, we're able to now show us some of your problems and some of the issues you've seen around town. Rebecca?
And the storm pin pictures keep rolling in. The primary pictures that we get are of tree damage and snapped trees. You can see this one that's snapped on a house. This is in San Mateo. And so they've got the cleanup crews out there trying to get to work on it before the next round of rain sets in. Here's another view of the same tree. You can see what violent force that wind had and how close the power lines were as well. And we are hearing about some power outages as well because of snapped trees and down power lines. This is a different tree over on the west side. You can see also snapped in half there. When you get the winds like we saw out there this afternoon, a lot of times you get treetop rotations, and that just snaps the tops of the trees off, and that's certainly what we're seeing a lot of pictures of from nearly every area of town, but the west side, especially down near the Crystal Lake area and the Crystal Springs area, there we've gotten a lot of pictures of snapped trees there. Now this tree's a little different. It was uprooted, and so that's also damaging winds of a different variety there. And here's some more tree limbs down on a fence. Here's another picture of that crazy cloud formation. This is going down I-10 there at 295, and so we did have some wild clouds out there as well. This tree's down on a pole barn, of course, unfortunately demolishing that one. This is a chimney that got ripped off by the roof, ripped off of the roof by the wind. You can see it's basically upended there. And so that's some roof damage that we've seen. We've gotten a couple of pictures of that. Here's another limb down, and it doesn't look like it hurt the house there. This is in oak leaf, and you can see all of the fences down, not only this one, but right here. But if you look past them, the next neighbor's fence that is down also pushed down. And so lots of extensive fence damage that we've gotten pictures of as well. Here's a trampoline that got tossed about by the wind. Here's a small shed, like a screened-in porch room, that got ripped off of the house. And here's another picture of more trees and limbs down. You can see how extensive that is, knocking the power lines there. That's going to be a mess to clean up. And of course, the power can't be restored until it is cleaned up. Here's another uprooted tree in Orange Park. And here's some flooding in St. Augustine. This is near the library near Congress Street. So we've got tons of these pictures on Storm Pens. Thank you so much for sharing them with us. Of course, we want to see your safely taken storm damage pictures. You can download the app in the App Store by searching for WJXT, and we will update you constantly on the damage that we're seeing out there. Mary?
Amazing images. Thank you, Rebecca. And we continue to track the damage from the earlier outer bands of Tropical Storm Colin. Let's get to Channel 4's Francesca Amaker now, who's live on the west side.